Okay, welcome back to the Bootleg God. I'm your host, the Bootleg God, and this time it is movie review hours once again. And this is a movie, not really a movie, a franchise that is very familiar to everyone who's been a fan of action movies for the past, actually 10 years, because the movie franchise has been over 10 years. Ballerina 2025, an offshoot, a spin-off of the John Wick series, dropped this year. I think it recently came out on digital, I think last week or 2 weeks. And I finally got the chance to watch it, and let me just say, I was not disappointed. Now, normally with spin-offs and offshoots and all that, sometimes they go a different direction, try to tone down the message of the movie, try to spin a lot of things, they reduce the quality, they go a different direction because of budget constraints and all that. But with John Wick, I'm even saying John Wick Ballerina because it's very easy to confuse his names. But with Ballerina 2025, starring Ana de Armas as the protagonist of this movie, I did not get that feeling at all. Everything we loved from the John Wick series was kept wholesomely intact and very much present. Ana de Armas was phenomenal as the lead actress for this work, and I think probably if there was anyone who had any doubts leading up to this movie, I think Ana de Armas settled all your doubts comfortably.
So now, prior to this series, I went back to the original John Wick franchise to watch it again, to refresh my memory, to see things I haven't seen or remembered perfectly clear, to just rehash my brain, make my brain work again, to remember everything that was needed to go into this series. And I was tweeting, I was really posting most of that on my Twitter account. If you're not following me on Twitter yet, you probably need to do so. It's Dr. Stinkmina on Twitter. But that aside, I went back, revisited the John Wick franchise once again, just to see everything that I had missed or had forgotten, to get myself ready and prepared to watch this one. Now, seeing Lance Reddick once again, Lance Reddick plays Charon in this franchise. Seeing Lance Reddick once again, knowing he has passed on, it was a bit, do I say jarring? I don't think it's jarring. It was a bit, I don't know what the word is for it right now, but it was a bit sad. It was both sad and amazing because he had passed on, but his life's work was still on. I'm watching him on my screen and I'm thinking, like, this guy is no longer here with us, but he left such an important legacy. I mean, I watched The Wire some few years back, and like Lance Reddick is a really, really phenomenal actor. But that aside, Ballerina 2025 is about a young girl named Eve, whose dad belonged to an assassin cult which she had run away from and tried to shield her from it, but that assassin cult came again in the end to kill him and tried to take his daughter, but they were unsuccessful in doing that. Now, Eve had to go to the ballet school headed by the director to put herself through numerous years of training and dedication, looking for a way, a time, a chance to get her revenge back at this group. She did not know who they were. She did not even know what they did at the time, but she just knew that these guys had come to take her father away from her, and she dedicated herself incredibly well for numerous years to get back to that point where she would have a gun in her hands and the time and the means and the opportunity to put her revenge into place. So when the time finally came for Eve to become what she was supposed to be, her final test was to kill someone who I think had either defied an order or run away from the director's organization. And they put two guns in front of them, unloaded, unassembled, and they had to assemble these guns and take a shot at each other. And that's just one shot. He had one shot, one chance, one opportunity to assemble a gun and just shoot someone you haven't met before. You don't even know why the person is being killed. And that's kind of important, because to become an assassin of the highest order, you have to have that level of coldness, that level of switch off, that level of ruthlessness to kill whoever is in front of you, no matter what they've done or no matter what they've not done. And that was the level Eve needed to get to in order to become an assassin. Because if she could not do that, then what was the point of all that training? But Eve, she assembled the gun faster than the other girl did. Took a first shot. I don't know why the gun didn't fire, but she later had to take a second shot and just shot the girl in the head, and that confirmed that Eve was finally ready to go into the world and see exactly what her revenge was going to be all about. Now, for her first mission, she got a polymer gun with rubber bullets to show you that this was life. This is now real levels of difficulty in real world, with no second chances, no takebacks, nothing. Going to do a bodyguard job with a plastic gun, rubber bullets, and the other guys are coming with real weapons. You have to be on your A game to actually be able to do anything serious at that level. And if she held her own, she threw back, she gave back her shots on her own, and she was as ruthless as she could be at that particular point in time. But I think she was holding back a bit, because I don't think she really killed those guys. She just punched them up and like broke them to some level where they could not follow her anymore. But she wasn't going in for the kill. And even the last guy, she left him. She had the knife, she had the stick in her hand. She didn't even pierce him. She just poked it into the wall, and that was that. But she was successful in her mission, and that was the most important part for her at that time. Now the next mission, we didn't see how it all went down at that time, but everyone was lying there in the upstairs in the club. And when she came out, that was when this movie started really getting serious. Now this scene, look at this scene here. This is one of the most explosive and interesting openings to an action scene. Like I shouldn't say ever, because I haven't seen everything ever, but so I say in the past 10 years of watching movies, I haven't seen an action scene be this explosive and interesting in one strike, one spot, one chance, one opportunity to make a statement. And if there was ever any time to make a statement in this movie, it was right at this point. A car speeding through an intersection, not minding whichever cars were on the road, ramming into Eve's car, coming out in the same motion, shooting at Eve. I mean, come on. When I saw that, I had to rewind this clip and I twisted it on my Twitter account that this was like the best opening to an action scene ever. But now I'm going to recant a little bit and just give it 10 years. But this was one of the best openings to an action scene for the past 10 years I've been watching movies. Speeding through an intersection, ramming into your target, coming out, hanging out by the door, shooting in one motion. I mean, come on. Like John Wick, people have always been levels, and that was one thing I appreciated watching this movie. There was no dumbing down, there was no reduction, there was no toning, there was no. Sometimes when it comes to sequels, there is a, how do I say this? There's an attempt maybe to go a different creative direction, or to reduce some things, or tone down some things, or massage the truth a little bit. But this time they came back with the same formula that has been working in the past so well for four movies in this franchise. And like this scene was, I mean, if you haven't seen John Wick, or you saw John Wick, or you didn't grasp the importance of this thing, I need you to go back to watch what happened here again. Through an intersection, ramming the car, gone out, shooting in one field motion. I mean, come on. Like when you see people that know what they are doing, you just simply have to applaud. And personally, I was applauding every minute of this thing. I went back, I watched it more than twice. I think I took it and posted it on my Twitter and Instagram and all that. But this scene was absolutely fucking incredible. One thing I've been thinking about is the assassins in this movie willing to break the Continental Code over a bounty of $5 million. This guy that she went to kill, that she thought was part of the cult, which later had to help and hide his kid and all that. There were other assassins going after him. The bounty on his head was $5 million, and we know that there is a penalty for breaking the rules of the Continental. But these assassins were willing to break that. So I'm thinking, even if they did it, how would they spend the money? Except maybe they were part of a bigger organization and they just had to do it, and maybe they'll take care of their family and all that. But I don't know why exactly they were willing to gamble taking $5 million and losing their lives in the process. But I don't know, this is just one of those things that maybe the desperation or the will. And like we said earlier, it was a cult, and these guys are part of a cult of killers that just kill for fun. So I don't know, they've been like, the bounty probably didn't even mean that much to them. They just wanted to do it because, I mean, this is how they've been brought up, and that is all they know. Now, Eve going after these assassins on her own was a bit boneheaded. Not even a bit, but it was very boneheaded, because all she had heard from everyone was that these guys were a cult, a group of people who were dedicated to killing, not for because they needed money, but for fun, as a way of life. She went into a remote town with no resources, no backup, against the orders of the director, looking for a cult of people who had killed her dad. And knowing cults as we know them to be, they are usually in remote places. They build compounds, they build families of their own, separately, away from civilization. And how walking into this similar situation and not clocking that this was, I mean, everybody in this town had the potential for danger was should I say, it wasn't naive, but it was a bit innocent of her. A bit innocent, like someone who doesn't know the world to be the way the world was. Now, this is another place where the directors of this movie, I have to doff my hats again to them once again, because they're fighting once again efficiency at a premium, creativity at a premium, innovation at a premium. This point where Eve turned a handgun and a knife into a bayonet. I mean, like, these are the things that keep the blood pumping. These are the things that make your heart beat. These are the things that make your pulse race. These are the things that give you that feeling that you are watching a movie where they know exactly what they are doing. Putting a handgun and a kitchen knife into a bayonet with some tape. Like, this is a real-time decision made in an instant. She knows she did not have enough bullets, and there was a knife. She can't really throw that knife, because once she throws the knife, then limited bullets, how much can she do? She tapes the two together, shooting and slashing. I mean, a bayonet with a handgun. How many people have done that in the history of humanity? I mean,
I don't mean to exaggerate, but this is just one of those few things when you see, you know that people that made this movie know exactly what they are talking about. And this point here where she stabs the gun into this guy, twists it up and shoots him. I mean, guy, like, wow. Another part again where we see some creative direction with the fighting is where Eve goes to buy guns and they get interrupted by members of this cult, and Eve only has grenades as her choice of weapon, and she delivers serious havoc with those grenades. Now, like, fighting guys who have guns and the only thing you have is grenades, and you know the explosive capacity of grenades. You have to time, you have to be very meticulous in your usage. You have to be very creative in your usage. And every single one of these guys, she made sure she gave them a buffet of grenades. Like, look at this train. She gave these guys a bag of grenades. She had this guy stuck in his mouth, hidden behind the door. This other guy, she dragged him on the table, broke his neck, and used the steel table to shield herself at the same time. I mean, come on, like, you don't see these things, you don't see them very often. And me seeing them now, I just have to give my applause. I just have to appreciate the level of creativity and ingenuity that went into creating scenes like this. A grenade as your only choice of weapon against guys with guns, and coming out victorious with not a serious scratch on her. I mean, come on, if you weren't assured of her assassin level right now, you should be absolutely convinced that she's at the level she needs to be to go after these guys who killed her dad. Now, the reintroduction of John Wick in this series, when he was sent by the director to come and take care of the Eve problem with the assassins guys. I mean, when we talk about aura farming and all this aura and all that, this is a typical example of when aura is in overload. John Wick stepping down from that train. I was a bit confused, but I didn't know. I was thinking, who would they really send to come and take care of that problem? But who did they have at that point? But John Wick. But at that time, I was thinking maybe he was off on another mission on his own, but when the camera was now panning for his foot, I know John Wick is a bit, he has bow legs. The camera didn't really capture the the bowness of his legs and all that. So I was thinking maybe it's him. When the camera finally came to his face, I was like, oh, these guys are serious. Then there was a wide angle shot where he was just standing and the snow was falling on him. I mean, come on, that is serious levels of horror for me. This is the guy, he's not here to joke. All black suit, black tie, everything. In the snow, dropped down from the plane, and the snow is just falling softly on him while all the assassins are looking at him from a distance. I know that this is the real deal. He's now walking in the snow. I mean, come on. This is just one of those movies that every single level, every single layer of this movie, serious level of thought and practicality was put into it. And I seriously appreciate the directors and the creators of this movie for that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is John and Eve fighting. Now, like, sometimes in movies like this, I said it earlier, they try to tone down, try to massage the truth, try to twist things a little bit to make it more interesting or give their main character more credence. But in this scene where John Wick and Eve were fighting, John Wick beat her every single time. And I mean every single time. There was no chance for her. She was totally and utterly dismantled. John Wick just took her down methodically. He didn't even stress. He was comfortable. He was comfortable at every single point of the tussle, because I can't even call that a fight, because John Wick was just toying with her, and that was very important to show that even if she had grown, John Wick is still levels ahead. Now, if like in a different movie with different directors, maybe they'll try to prop up, because she's the main character of the movie, they'll try to prop her up a bit, give her more, allow her to be like, maybe she wins a few times, but John Wick dominated her totally. And that was very important, not just for the John Wick franchise, but for this movie too. Not just because we have to say it because she's a woman and all that, we have to like do female power and make her look stronger than she's supposed to be. But John Wick is at the apex of assassins. You can't just have anybody and anyone just take him down when he has been fighting off guys bigger, stronger, and better than her. And that was very, very important to me to see that they did not allow her to win any round in this, and they kept John Wick's respect in the place he was supposed to be. Now, the decision not to kill her at this point was either a directive from the director or a personal decision of John Wick himself. Now, the director had two problems. She had a problem with the cult, and she had the Eve problem. She didn't want Eve bringing back any blowback on the Roscar rover. But then I think, I'm not sure, maybe it's a question for the fans, because John Wick himself, he knows she's on the path of revenge, and John Wick knows what it's like to be on the path of revenge and not be fulfilled. And I think maybe he understood her from that perspective. That's why he gave her until 12 to complete her mission, or she goes down for it. So I'm not really sure if the director told him to wait, probably see if she could kill the cult leader, or if John Wick, as a personal decision of his own, he saw the kind of situation she was in, and he realized it was a situation he had been in himself, and he just gave her that chance, that opportunity to cast out her demons, and just like give her the chance until 12. You have 1 to 12 to kill the leader. If you can't do it, then what else can he do for her anymore? But if she proved to be relentless, she proved to be creative. At the point when she ran out of guns, she began using a flamethrower. At the point when she ran out of a flamethrower, she had to take a water hose and fight the other guy. And even at some point, John Wick finally had to intervene by using a sniper. And one of the funny things of this movie was when these other assassins were going after John Wick, and this guy now said this. And he said this, I just had to laugh and replay, because you don't know who you are messing with. You don't know who you are messing. This is a guy that was haunted in the city where he almost practically had no escape, and he came out unscathed. And you think you and your small guns are going to do something? Come on. Like, he even said it. It is John Wick. What else are you going to do? What else are you going to say? Like, what weapon are you going to bring that he doesn't know how to use? And like we see, they gave John Wick his own small shine. Took everybody down, and this shot particularly was one that was very interesting. John Wick comes out of his hiding place, shoots this guy in the head, and shoots the other guy behind him through the head, and it is one shot, one take, one attempt, and the guy goes down immediately. I mean, you're not getting me. He shoots one guy in the head and I don't even know if he shoots him before. Like, it's a simultaneous shot, shooting the guy in front of him and using his head as an aiming. I mean, come on. This is knowledge of the kind of gun he has. This is knowledge of precision. This is knowledge of accuracy. This is conviction. This is practice. There are plenty of words to describe John Wick in this movie, and I run out of adjectives at some point. But the creativity, the willingness, the conviction to do that shot. I mean, it's a quick shot, so you won't notice it except you are paying attention. And I most definitely was paying attention, because I noticed that. I think I clicked and posted it on my Twitter and on my Instagram also. But I mean, to the directors, I want you to know that I noticed, and I applaud you sincerely for that. Now, Eve got to the point of her revenge. Everyone killed, and I think when she was now chasing after these guys in the car, when the guy now stepped out of when the driver and the cult leader stepped out, the way they stepped out of the car, I was thinking that, do these guys know like what time it is? This girl has killed almost everybody who was part of your cult, everybody who you sent after her. And the way he just stepped out of the car so casually, that's a reminder of the power he had and the power he knew that he had. Because this is a cult, this is an institution, this is an ideology. Killing one person in the end will not really make a dent in the grand scheme of things. And he knew that. And he also thought he could talk his way out of the situation. Look at the way he stepped down out of the car casually. Like, he knew, like, he believed nothing was going to happen. And this put me in the reminder of John Wick Part 1, when John Wick shot Santino de Antonio while he was still talking. And I was predicting that to happen, and it happened exactly as I thought it was. The guy was just talking, thinking he still had the time to talk his way and buy his way out of this mess. I mean, he just put some bullets in him, and that was that. So that was the story at the end. But in conclusion, I totally enjoyed Ballerina as an action flick. I think this is one of the best action movies for the past few years, alongside the John Wick franchise. It did not water down the John Wick franchise. It did not reduce. It did not tone down. It kept the memory. It kept the name. It did not disgrace itself. Saying it did not disgrace itself sounds as if it was sharp, it was mid. It was absolutely amazing. It was fantastic. And if you haven't seen Ballerina 2025, starring Ana de Armas, its cameo appearance from Keanu Reeves as John Wick, I mean, you absolutely need to see this. Ballerina 2025, I think it was one of the movies that prompted me to put up my camera once again and talk again to you guys. But I'm excited. This is the second half of the year. No sign of weakness, like Bona says, and I think this is that for now. I'm still your host, the Bootleg God, on the Bootleg Corner. Hit me up with your thoughts, your comments in the comment section. Keep it locked in, and bye for now.